All right, here we go. Our first guest hasn't been on the program for a long time. We have some catching up to do with our first guest. A very funny man, and you can listen to the guy as a new sports radio program entitled The Nick and Artie Show.
Oh, yes.
Nick and Artie Show, and you can hear it at nickandartie.com. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Artie of Nick and Artie, Artie Lange. Artie, come on out. Artie. How you doing?
What's up, Dave? How you doing, man?
Well, I'm doing pretty well, and good to see you again. And you look great.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for being on the show. Now, I don't know how to get into this exactly, but I think there's some areas that we need to discuss.
Sure.
We went away for a while. We didn't see you because there were some... Well, how would you describe the difficulty that you endured?
I had some issues with drug usage.
When you say drug usage, what are we talking about?
We're talking about, you know, pills and things, and, you know, not steroids.
Now, you say pills.
I did steroids wrong. I just took steroids and didn't lift weights, and I just got bigger.
Just got bigger. And the pills, are they sort of depressants? Are they sort of like what, downers? Is that what they call them?
Yeah, I got a little down when I took them, yeah. But sometimes I got a little up, too.
Got a little up. Yeah. And you also mentioned things. What other things was in that?
I did some gambling here and there on sports, and you know, pretty much anything.
Are you what they say, a degenerate gambler?
I think based on how I'm dressed, you could say I'm a degenerate gambler.
So there was a...
I bet on the Jets a lot.
I see. But with all of these stories, one comes to a point where a change absolutely has to occur.
Right. I had the great opportunity, Dave, to visit a couple of psych wards. I spent some time in psych wards.
Right.
And I got to tell you, man, you have not lived till you've played Scrabble in a psych ward.
Do they encourage Scrabble as a method of rehabilitation?
Well, they just encourage killing time, I think, you know. So
are you a good Scrabble?
Well, I played Scrabble, right. I played Scrabble in a Scrabble ward, in a psych ward. Here's the Scrabble game. It's me, which already makes it a horrible Scrabble game. I went to summer school in the 10th grade because I failed gym.
Really?
Yeah. And then there was another girl there who was a 90-pound crystal meth addict, was the other player. And I always say this, crystal meth's a good drug to do if you want to walk to St. Louis one weekend.
A lot of energy?
Yeah, you get a lot of energy, yeah. And the other player, there was three of us. The other player was a 400-pound paranoid schizophrenic guy who hadn't gotten his medication yet. So that's the Scrabble game.
Right.
So I'm sitting in between them and I'm keeping score. So when the 400-pound guy went, he went third. There was an open G. And all the guy did was he put an M and an R next to the G. So it just said GMR.
GMR.
Right.
Not a word.
Now, I was scared of this guy.
Right.
So I just went, great word. Let's add that up.
let's add that up.
What's that? An M's a 3, you're on a double-letter score, whatever. The girl decides to argue with the guy. She goes, that's not a word. And I'm like under the table going, it's a word.
Yeah. You don't know. You just don't know.
It's not a word. So now they get into an argument in between. So the guy goes, it's an abbreviation. Oh. And she goes, for what? And the guy says, it's the abbreviation for game room.
GMR.
Yeah, and if you think about it, it might be the abbreviation.
Could be, yeah.
GMR, yeah.
But in Scrabble, abbreviations don't count.
Well, I don't think the guy knew that.
Yeah, it's too bad.
And again, I was scared of the guy, so I just went, great abbreviation.
Yeah,
let's
nice
add that up.
Yeah. Did you play a lot of Scrabble?
Well, what happened was they got into a fight over this, and she said, abbreviations don't count in Scrabble. And he goes, yes, they do. And she goes, I never heard that. And the guy honestly said this. He goes, that's because you're not a genius.
Wow. Food for thought.
Then they got into a fight. Like he tried to hit her, and I got in between it, and security had to come over. So I think I saved the woman's life.
Well, good for you, Artie.
Which
good for you.
Is a great plus to the planet Earth.
I'm glad to hear that. Now, When you were, it must be a horrible, difficult thing to go through, but, you know, thank God you went through it. But to go through it as a public figure, that must make it even more difficult, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I don't know what this says about fans of mine, but 90% of the people on the psych ward had my book that I wrote.
Too fat to fish?
Too fat to fish.
Too fat to fish, yeah.
Right up there with The Great Gatsby. It's big. And a guy came up to me, and I don't know what was wrong with him, but he was shaking. And he said, listen, I know everything's supposed to be anonymous here, but if I get my wife to send me your book, will you sign it for me? And I said, yeah. And he goes, but don't worry, I'll keep it anonymous, right? So the phones are all open there. You can hear everybody's phone conversation. So an hour later, I'm walking by the phone, and I hear the guy screaming at his wife. He goes, just send me Artie Lange's book. I can't tell you why.
Wow. Now, how do you feel now? Are you all right now?
I feel good now. Yeah.
So you're without the assistance of these controlled substances?
Yeah, absolutely. I take antidepressants, but some of the antidepressants I take have these crazy side effects. Like, you ever see on television the side effects for some of these pills?
Oh, at the end of the commercial.
Yeah, it takes like 14 minutes.
Right.
Like, for the side effects, and they're scary, some of them.
Yeah.
And literally, one of the ones I'm taking, one of the side effects, the announcer goes, some people have complained that their ears are bleeding.
Oh, man. Some people.
Yeah.
Wow, really?
And then he goes, if this happens, call your doctor.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to slip my mind if my ear's bleeding.
Yeah. Oh, got to make that call.
My ears are bleeding. Let me call. Should I call my doctor or the landscaper?
What now? Are you? Well, tell me a little bit about your life. You have the sports radio show,
right?
And are you dating anyone now?
I actually have a girlfriend.
That's great.
Yeah,
congratulations.
yeah, most people get surprised when I say that.
Well, I'm not surprised. I think it's a nice thing for
Yeah,
her.
she's very nice. But I had some time that I spent on the dating websites. And the problem with those dating websites is they ask you questions. And you have to be honest with them.
Sure.
And if I'm honest with some of these questions, there's no way I'm getting a date. Like, on one of these websites, one of the questions they ask, what's the worst thing you've ever done? I mean, now, if I'm honest with that question, I'm not getting a date, I don't think. Like, what's the worst thing you've ever done? Let me see. One time I stole my mother's engagement ring to pay off a biker gang I owed money to. What are you doing Friday night?
How about a movie?
Yeah. You want to go to Red Lobster?
Now, did you? I don't know how long you were in treatment.
Right.
But did things in the cultural societal world come and go without you? I mean,
Yeah, well, like, it's been a couple of years. It's been a couple of years in show business. It's like this Twitter's big now. You heard of this?
Oh, I know all about it. No, I don't.
You don't tweet? No?
I don't have anything to say.
I don't do it either. And I got to be the only person in my generation who doesn't. And it's just weird to have followers. You know what I mean? I remember, like, in the old days, it was bad to have people following you.
Right.
You didn't want that. Now people brag about it.
Yeah, sure.
And if you're gonna follow somebody, if you have, like, only interesting, important people should have followers. You know, not Tammy, the receptionist at the tanning salon.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Like Jesus had followers.
Yeah.
And I think if Jesus were alive today, I might follow him. You know, interesting guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Son of God, walked on water. I'd like to see what his day's like, you know.
I'm with you.
But you know, one of the Real Housewives of Orange County, I just don't see it. No. Yeah. It's just weird, but it's a good time to be a comedian with Twitter, though.
Oh, sure.
It is, because a lot of these, you can make money. A lot of these girls from reality shows.
That never occurred to me.
They hire comedians to write their tweets for them, because they want to seem clever.
Now you write for somebody?
Well, I got a call from my agent, and he said, suppose, like, as an example, Kim Kardashian wanted you to write tweets for her. Would you do it? And I said, yeah, I need the money. But then I started thinking, you know, my mind's not really what it used to be. What if I screw up and accidentally tweet something about my life on her account.
Well, that would be great. That would be fantastic.
You'd like that?
I would love that.
Well,
Can you do that, please?
I think...
Now you're talking.
I think she'd fire me if she went to her Twitter page and saw something like, "You're at Kim Kardashian, I just paid a hooker to shave my back."
I've done that. You've done that? I've done that. There you go.
You know, like, "You're at Kim Kardashian, I just threw up a Snickers bar on the subway."
Sure.
I don't think she'd take kindly to that.
Who cares, for God's sake?
Yeah, screw her.
Artie, it's good to have you back, Artie.
Yeah,
now,
it's
this
good to be here.
Nick and Artie show, do you know anything about sports?
Yeah, I'm a sports fan, actually. We're from gambling. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, of course. You don't gamble. You can't gamble
I
anymore.
don't gamble. I can't do anything anymore,
Good for you.
Dave.
Good for you. Well,
I think the Jets fans, you know, are really going to have an easy time identifying with their new superstar, Plaxico Burress, because I think right now most Jet fans want to shoot themselves.
that's right. Okay. That was something Kim Kardashian tweeted. You can listen to the Nick and Artie show at nickandartie.com. Here he is, Artie Lange. Good to see you again, Artie. Nice job. Thank you very much. We'll be right back with Eddie Brill.